Hi, everybody. Wonderful to see all of our Dodge Nature Center and preschool fans out there joining us today. Really neat seeing so many faces on the screen, and not just one face, but kiddos gathered around for this exciting time. Definitely not what we would prefer. We would prefer you all being at the Nature Center and at the preschool, but where we're at today, we're going to do our best to bring some of Dodge to you at your homes. And I know our staff here at Dodge miss everyone, but here's a way for us to reach out to you a little bit and enable you to see what's happening at Dodge and how we're caring for our animals. For those that just got on, it's easiest if you want to switch to the speaker mode, so that way you can just see the face of the person that's talking or will be talking here in the future. So that way you can see the animals as well a little better. If you have any questions, you could add them to the chat, and that way Rachel will kind of be in there and asking the questions to those that are representing Dodge and the preschool today. So excited to have you here. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Amy, our preschool director, and she will help us introduce our first preschool teacher, as well as a guest that teacher is working with today. So Amy, it's all yours.
Thanks, Jason. Hi, everyone. It's so good to see all of you today, and so many familiar faces. We miss seeing you every day at the preschool, and we wanted to give a big thank you to all of our preschool families who've been donating your tuition and helping us run a much changed Dodge Nature preschool, but the best we can do for right now. And Eddie has been missing all of you so much. So Judy is here today, and she's going to let you guys see Eddie, and she'll tell you a lot about him. And she's actually on site in the Spruce classroom. So I'm going to turn it over to Judy Moran, one of our leads in our Spruce classroom.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to see so many people. I'm Judy. I'm one of the teachers in the Spruce room, and this is Eddie. She's our preschool chicken, but she's also one of our teachers. Well, last fall, the teachers at Dodge decided to get a preschool chicken from the farm. So we decided, well, we'll ask the farmers to see if they could recommend one of the chickens to come and stay with us at the preschool. And one of the farmers noticed this chicken following her around while she was feeding and doing chores at the chicken coop. And so she thought, well, maybe this would be a good chicken to be in the preschool. And another reason is she was a hatchier, meaning she had hatched the spring before, so she hadn't lived at the farm for very long. So she would probably be more likely to want to live with people. And so we went and we picked up this chicken here, and we brought her back, and we thought, I wonder what we should name her. And we all decided that she looked like an Eddie. Now, at the time, we didn't know if Eddie was a boy or a girl, but we thought Eddie has to be her name. And then maybe, I don't know, a couple months, maybe a month, a couple months later, you know what she did? She laid an egg. So then we knew for sure that this was a girl chicken, because only girls lay eggs. But we had already decided that Eddie is her name, so we kept her name. So, as I mentioned earlier, she is also one of the teachers at Dodge, and there's a few things she teaches us. Most obviously, she teaches us more about birds. So as you can see, she's got all these beautiful feathers. She's got these really stiff flight feathers that help her fly. She's got these really warm downy feathers that keep her really warm right by her body here. And so if you see an animal and it has feathers, then you know for sure it is a bird. And another thing about birds that you could, well, it might be hard for you to see, but she's showing her ancestors here on these scales. So all birds have scales on their legs. And so she can show us those scales. I'm trying to get a little, I don't want her to fly, so I don't want to move her too much. But she also has these scales on her legs. So she's really a dinosaur. And birds have beaks. So you notice she's got that beak there. they all look a little bit differently depending on what they like to eat, but she teaches us about the birds having beaks and scales on their legs and feathers. But you know what? I think most importantly, she teaches us about ourselves and others. And I have a few pictures that I want to share with you now. And then I'll get back to Eddie here. But these are pictures, let me see if I can do this, that we have taken while we are in the classroom and out at Dodge with Eddie. There she is. So that was probably maybe the first day, one of the first days that she was with us in the spruce room. And there she is. And you notice when you see her again, you'll see that she has more of a red comb on her head now. And in this picture, you can't see it at all. So that tells me she was a lot younger. And there's one of her first eggs. There's another story about her first egg, but that's one of her first eggs that she laid. And then we have the kids really love when she lays eggs, and I really love it too, but it's the kids that really pay attention to when those eggs get laid in her chicken coop. And she started to lay a lot of eggs. And here the children are feeding her. So I think that, you know, we all need to eat, but we don't always eat the same things. So this helps children learn the different needs of others. So here they're feeding her a little bit of grass. We also feed her mealworms. One of her favorite treats is blueberries or tomatoes. And they're feeding her. She's looking at herself on the screen. And here's a slug. She also likes to eat lots of slugs and worms and other types of insects that she might find outside. And here she's teaching us that she likes tomatoes. So this was one of the first times that I realized that she likes to eat tomatoes. Okay, here's a video. And it's when this little girl fed her a worm and went right after she ate it.
Maybe she's trying to make it up. Oh!
So she said, let's dig for another one. So she's also learning responsibility and how to care for other beings. And here they're making a birthday cake. Some of the children decided to have a surprise birthday party for Eddie. So they're putting all of her favorite things, some seeds and blueberries and tomatoes, and making a suet. So it was a suet cake for Eddie. And then another thing that we all share is we all need a place to live. We need a home. And it might be a little hard for you to hear. So what the child says is, what is Eddie making a hole for? And then he says, a home. So let me play that for you.
What is Eddie making a hole for? A home? A home? You think so?
So that's another connection we have, that we all need a place to live. And Eddie does like to make holes and she likes to lay in them. Another thing that she teaches us about our bodies and how we move. And some of the children noticed that she likes to stand on one foot a lot. So they started to mimic her and stand on one foot as well. And there's another example. I'll try and get that a little bit bigger. And then this child here was kind of mimicking her moves and the way her body is moving through space. There we go. And these children were watching her as she was digging in the leaves, and they noticed that she was doing kind of a chicken dance. So I'll show you here. And here again, she is a bird, so she flies, but really this is where her hidden talents come out. When she flies, a lot of times birds will fly because they're scared of something. And children recognize that. They recognize that she's scared of something or she's feeling a little nervous. And especially in the beginning of the year, when kids are just starting to come to school, they're feeling a little nervous. And so they can empathize with Eddie, and they know that, oh, we need to give her space because she's feeling a little nervous. So that's what these children are doing here, is they're learning, if we give her space, she'll come to us when she's ready. And here, this is our sandbox. You see this ledge here, and they were balancing on the ledge. And Eddie was going this way on the ledge, and these children were coming the other way. And I just watched to see, I wonder what's gonna happen. And the child decided, you know what, I'm gonna respect her, and I'm gonna get off that ledge, and I'm gonna walk around so she can walk. And I'm not in her way. I just thought that was really neat. Another thing she does is she inspires a lot of chicken art. So we've had a lot of chicken art in our classroom here at Dodge. They will take a sketch pad or make journal stories. And there's a picture of Eddie. And probably most importantly, the children find a connection with her in that they know that she is one of us in a lot of different ways. Now, she is a chicken, of course, but she has adopted us as one of her flock. And here's an example of how she stays with us no matter where we are. There she goes. So the children were excited to go look at a monarch butterfly that was emerging, and we were going to release it. And Eddie wanted to join us. And she goes kick sledding with us sometimes in the winter. And here she is on one of our hikes. This is at Best Camp Ever. And she is, again, she likes to balance along with the children on the logs. And if you let her come to you, she will, and then she'll let you hold her. But most of all, do you see these hearts? She's got these hearts on her feathers. And so I think that her best power, let me expand this out a little bit. Her best power is that she brings people close together. So there she is with a group of children coming over to give her some love and holding her and watching, seeing, what does Eddie see? I'm gonna keep looking to find out. Just hanging out with her on the bench and giving her some love. So I'm gonna stop sharing now so you can see what she's doing. As I've been on screen sharing, there she is. She's been doing some preening of her feathers, meaning she's been cleaning her feathers. I'll give her one of her favorite foods now, which is a mealworm. Ready? Do you see that comb? So it's a lot bigger now. All right, so that is all I have with Eddie. And now I believe you'll be seeing Pete Cleary with our snake, Bowtie.
And actually, Bowtie is pretty happy to be in my hands right now. He's cold. And for being a cold-blooded animal, he should technically be cold. But since we haven't been in the building, we've had the heat turned down, and he has been more dormant and not really doing anything and hasn't eaten in weeks. And so I'm warming him up today, and I'm going to give him his food afterwards. Right now, if you can go ahead and chat away, what do you think he's going to get to eat this afternoon? And in the range of anything that it might be, but what's on the menu for Bowtie this afternoon? Right after we're done here, he gets another chance to eat. And so, what do you think is going in there?
Hey, where did my volume go?
Got something coming in from Christina.
What do you think he's gonna eat?
Mice, crickets, mice.
Mice.
It doesn't eat crickets, and it would like to eat mice.
I
It's
did
going to take a lot of mice. And if we fed it mice, we'd probably feed it 3 mice. But this afternoon is something different. If you want to keep guessing, you can. Larger than crickets, larger than mice.
Eggs.
Something that can fit in this mouth, which isn't really all that big, but can be swallowed whole without any chewing. It has cool teeth, but not for chewing. It has good teeth for holding on. It has a great body for holding on, but it doesn't have something good for chewing. So no seeds and no carrots and no celery.
Chicken heart.
Chicken hearts. Ooh, inventive. I love that one. Squirrels is a little too big unless they were babies. Meat, most definitely. Chicken hearts, that's people food. We eat that. Why would we give it to a snake if we didn't? Oh, if it was leftover chicken hearts.
Eggs.
Eggs. This is not an egg.
No.
Chicks.
Chicks? Ooh, chicks would be great. And when this thing is kind of a little bit sick, maybe we'd get it some chicks, but chicks are usually saved as food for our raptors here at DOT. So for the owl and for the hawk and for the eagle, we would feed them more likely chicks. Alligators. I like how you think. We don't have any alligator for it to chop up, but somebody's hit it. It's having a rat this afternoon, and not exactly a large rat. We've given large rats before. It's very funny to watch the large rat go in the front and slide all the way down on the end, but it puffs out because the ribs aren't connected in the middle. It puffs out. You can actually see it going in there. But today, regular sized rat, since it hasn't eaten in weeks, would want to overwhelm the system with something huge that it wouldn't want, and it might be, it might not even want to eat today. It might just take the day off as part of the week off, as part of the month off, and we still have to kind of keep offering it food until finally it eats. The good thing, it's very active in my hands right now, and as it's moving, it's warming up and it's not just laying about, but you can see its tongue flicking out and smelling stuff every once in a while. You can see I'm having to move my hands to keep it from getting away. And when I set it on the table, it was crawling away because it's not easy to log in to Zoom when you're holding a snake and it's asking for verification that you're not a robot. So it's active. Ooh, when it's hitting right in my elbow. Uh-oh, not up my shirt. Okay. But it's active, and so hopefully it's going to have lunch right after you guys have lunch. And hopefully nobody's having rats or mice or crickets or what was the other one? Well, chicken hearts would be fine.
Whole eggs.
Whole eggs, yes. Hopefully no one's swallowing whole eggs for lunch unless the shell's already off, but you should chew. And that's what makes you different from this snake. Oh, look at that. He's sniffing and sniffing.
Mouse.
He hasn't been sniffing me very much, which I'm okay with. Is Pam getting ready to go? Or should I go on and on? Rachel?
She should be ready.
Remember that?
Pam?
More questions by chat before I have to go let a snake eat.
Remember that funny Shel Silverstein story that I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor story?
This one is not big enough to swallow me. I'm much too big for that small mouth. If you look, it wouldn't even be able to swallow part of my arm.
Or what about your finger?
What about my finger? I've been bitten on the finger by them before. Usually they're just striking at you to scare you and get you to go away because they're scared of the big things. So it bites real quickly and lets go, and it's really not trying to swallow you at all. And when you get bit by that and they do that to scare you, it scares you. And even if you know it's going to scare you, because I knew it was supposed to scare me and that's how they work, it still scared me. It was very funny, like, whoa, oh, hey. And then I knew afterwards that it was just trying to scare me, and it worked. But I'd let it go, and it was doing what it wanted to do, and I was just backing up and letting it go, and perfect thing for the snake to do. Because when they're scared, that's sometimes what they do. This one also, when it's scared, jiggles its tail back and forth really fast. And people think it's a rattlesnake, and so they leave it alone. It's pretty effective, actually. It's much more effective than the biting thing, because the biting thing is very dangerous. You
Thanks,
ready?
Pete.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to go feed.
I did!
Have a great lunch, everybody. Say, have a
Thanks,
great lunch,
Pete.
Bowtie.
All right. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Pam.
Always having students, so this is the next best thing. We're out here at Shepherd Farm, my film crew, Mick and Nathan and myself, and we're here at cow pasture, as you could probably guess. And cow is an interesting word because everybody thinks that all of these creatures are cows, when in reality, they're cows are actually an animal that has had a baby. So a bovine that's had a baby. A bull is a bovine that can be a dad. A steer, as this one here is an animal that cannot have a baby anymore as a boy. And a heifer is a female that has not had a baby yet. Now, there's about 500 different kinds of cows in the world, but here in the United States, we use about 10 different breeds. A cow can live up to 20 years. Most of them don't. And as you can see, he needs a large pasture. Cows actually like to eat the grass when it's tall. And cows don't have the top front teeth that many animals do. So they use their rough sandpapery tongue in order to grab the tall grass. As you can see, he's trying to take the hair off of my hand, I think. It's great for cows because they can actually take that grass and turn it into a product that we can use, like meat, milk, or leather. Now, the other cool thing about cows is they actually have 5 senses. So they can taste a couple of different tastes. They can actually feel, mostly with this muzzle area here. They can hear. They can actually smell. But the main sense that they use is visual. So those huge eyes are how they gather most of the incoming things from the world. And a cow actually recognizes who we are because of the way we look, not something like a horse or a donkey that recognizes us more because of the way we sound. We have a couple others over here. So here at the Shepherd Farm, we have 3 steers, 1, 2, and the guy in the back. And then we have a cow. She's actually given birth to that big guy back there. Hey, you. How you doing? Now, a fun thing to do if you're ever in cow country or you're on a car ride and you're looking out the window and you see cows, you can actually tell whether a cow is designed to be a meat cow or a dairy cow by their basic shape. So if a cow is shaped sort of like a rectangle, like a present box, it's a cow that's probably going to be used for meat. If it's a cow that's shaped like a sideways triangle, where their bottom comes to a point, like this one here, even though he's a boy, it's a cow that's probably going to be used for dairy. So it's just sort of a fun activity that you can do on a long, boring car trip. Now, the 2 kinds of cows we have here are the large brown ones in the background are called shorthorns. And then the 2 younger ones up here in the front are my personal favorite. They're called Jerseys. And cows can actually be fairly friendly. They've been domesticated for thousands of years, as you can see. Does anybody have any questions about the cows?
Why are Jersey cows your favorite, Pam?
Well, they're my favorite because I'm from New Jersey. And I also think they're very pretty. They almost have a deer-like look with those big, beautiful eyes. And they're a smaller cow. I just think they're pretty.
And we have a question going back to the snakes from Gregory. So not about a cow, but Gregory's wondering how a boa constrictor can move on the ground to get around. How does it move?
How snakes move without legs?
Yep.
Basically, they use the scales that are on their underbelly. The scales underneath the snake are different from the scales on the top. And the underbelly scales are able to sort of grip the ground and enable the snake to move. Quite fast, actually.
Great. And back to the cows, how old do the cows live to?
They can live anywhere between 15 and 20 years, but most of them don't live that long, if you can guess why. But they're fairly long-lived for a farm animal.
And how many cows do we have at Dodge?
Currently, we have 4, 3 boys and 1 girl.
And what do the baby cows eat?
Milk from their mother. Being a mammal, of course, all mammals drink milk from their mother.
And Pam, why do cows poop?
Everybody poops. It's the waste product from the vegetation that their bodies don't use.
And why?
The great thing about their poop is actually being a vegetarian, we can take that and make it into compost. People actually even use it to cook with in other countries.
And why does the cow poop look like pies?
Just the way their system is designed for it to come out. Have you ever seen turkey poop? It looks like a spiral. Poop is very distinctive on what animal it came from.
And why is that cow licking your vest right now?
He's just looking for some food.
And we have a question about the Highland cattle and why they're not at Shepherd Farm anymore.
The Highlands were getting a little bit too big for their britches, so they're not here anymore. We were afraid being this close to the cities, if they got out, that they could hurt somebody.
Do we have other cow questions or other animal questions we'd like to ask Pam?
Good boy, Norman.
What are their horns for, Pam?
For protection, if they're going to battle. And these are short. Some horns, if you see like a Texas Longhorn, they're really big. Even our short horns are considered short.
Gotcha. And how do people get milk from the cows?
They milk them. Most milking is done by machines nowadays. And cows can give, up to 20, 30, some cows even 40 gallons a day. So, and that's twice a day. They've got to be milked. So most are done by machines. You can see on the female there, she's got a udder underneath her. And that's where the milk comes from.
Great.
And that's the case with all mammals can provide milk.
And our hawk at Dodge, does our hawk have a name, Pam?
Our hawk does have a name. Its name is Sammy.
Sammy the hawk.
He doesn't actually know his name, but that's his name.
Gotcha. And do the cows have names?
This one does, yeah. This one's name is Norman.
You did my songs.
And named after the City Slickers movie.
Why does I keep
Gotcha.
using my songs?
And our eagle is named Bud. And there's a question about how Stella is doing at your house.
Well, Stella was going to make an appearance, but she is doing well. She's starting to eat solid food. So hopefully she'll be going to live at the farm soon. I think it's going to be sad for her. She's taken quite nicely to living in our house, but at some point she'll have to return to live with the other sheep. So maybe if we do another lunch with the animals, Stella can be the guest of honor.
Yes, that would be great. And another question about cows, why do they have hooves?
Why do they have hooves?
Yep.
It's like our feet. So instead of having 5 toes, cows actually have 2 toes with the hooves, and that enables them to walk around on the ground. They're not great climbers like a sheep or a goat, but they can actually move those toes independently. So if you look at them, it's the cow's feet.
Have you ever milked a cow yourself, Pam?
I've never milked a cow. I've milked a goat and a sheep.
Yeah, I have too.
Any other questions for Pam? All right, well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks for coming out to the farm. We'll see you again. Bye.
Thanks, Pam.
That was great. Seeing the questions come in and the interaction, and really, most importantly, the high activity of the people wanting to see this. I want to thank you as our donors, our volunteers that continue to support Dodge Nature Center and the preschool. It's obvious at this time there's a lot of activity still at Dodge, even though the buildings are not open, the farm is not open, our trails are open. But just to kind of run through a quick list: Signe, Rachel, Amy, Judy, Pete, Pam, Mick, Aiden, Eddie, Bowtie, the cows, all of these staff, animals as staff, as our ambassadors, are playing a role for Dodge Nature Center and into the future. And we want to thank you for supporting Dodge with your time, as well as your resources to keep everything moving here. And we can't wait to see you back at Dodge and enjoying the many, many wonders of our natural world. So thank you again. And we look forward to our next lunch with the animals, but more importantly, we look forward to seeing you back at Dodge. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.